Hello. This is Tony once again from the Game Challenger UK YouTube channel. I'd like to say thank you very much for coming to watch this podcast. And we've got a special guest on this podcast, and I want you to just hold on tight before we bring the special guest on. But I want to just say something, just quiet, and just think about this. Now we're living in a moment where technology isn't just changing jobs, it's deciding who stays relevant and who gets left behind. AI, automation, cyber risks, digital platforms, they're all not coming, they're not coming, they're actually already here again. Today's question is simple but uncomfortable. Are you future-proof or future lost? I'd just like to briefly introduce our guests. But before introducing our special guest, I want to bring Joseph, co-host, and Joseph, we know our security man. Joseph, good. Hello, how are you?
Not too bad.
Right. Are you future-proof or are you future lost?
Future-proof, I hope. I mean, technology.
Well, I think everybody wants you to be future-proof because they need us. They need us now. They need us right now. So, what, do you have anything to say before we any nuggets? Nuggets you're gonna
just nugget is jumping into digital, jumping into the new artificial intelligence, and make the best use of it. Don't be afraid.
Right, great. Let's bring up Bose.
Hi, Tony. Hi,
our
Joe.
Data specialist.
Hi, everyone.
Our
data specialist. I'm sure you have some data on this stuff, and and I know you know our special guest very for a long time. Yeah,
I do.
Are you excited?
Indeed.
Are you excited?
I'm very excited. Very excited. Can't wait for you to announce who the special guest is.
Can you give us a little bit of how long you've known Stephen for?
Well, I've known our special guest for well over 15 years. Ooh. And he's a great person to have on the show for today's topic. And I'm really excited. I'm not going to give too much away because, as you said, let's start the podcast. And I'm looking forward to it.
All right. So before we bring in Stephen, I just want to just go through a few things about, because I went through some of the amazing projects and amazing collaborations having, and our special guest actually brings a wealth of real world business experience and strategic insights into this conversation. His name is Stephen Camilleri. I hope I've pronounced it right. He's a founder or CEO of Global Entrepreneur Magazine, a global business platform dedicated to elevating leaders, innovators, entrepreneurs who are shaping the future of the work and enterprise. He has over 45 years of entrepreneur mastery. Stephen has navigated diverse industries as an investor, consultant, mentor, and growth accelerator, helping startups and established businesses unlock opportunities, scaled effectively, and adapt to change. He's known for his resilience, innovation-driven mindset, and deep global network, making him uniquely placed to help us unpack not just what's changing, also what we're going to be going through with this disruption. So I'm going to just, without further ado, I'm going to just bring in Stephen. Stephen, I hope you're there. I know you're all the way in Dorset.
I'm here.
Hi,
That's
Stephen.
correct. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. After your introduction, now I couldn't have put it better myself. Thank you.
Never introduced me like that.
Stephen, I was so, you know when you're reading about a organization and a person and you've seen the impact they're making and you just keep wanting to know more and more and more. And I just said, I just need to, I just couldn't even stop reading. And I thought to myself, you know what, this is not just a one line This has to be good. And then I haven't even mentioned. I found something very exciting about your Nigerian trip, and I'm sure you're going to tell us a little bit about that. But Stephen, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about what you're doing right now, and what's happening?
Well, actually, I'm thrilled to be here. Obviously, it's great to catch up with you all again. The aim that I'm looking for now at this time of life is to leave at least 2 legacy projects behind. Okay, and our global projects helping entrepreneurs to upskill, because obviously with AI coming in, there are going to be challenges to people, but to upskill in a community where they have all the support. So implementing those structures, communication channels, guidance, etc., is very exciting. And the magazine was a start of it, I suppose, really, in a sense, to give free exposure to entrepreneurs and people doing good things in the community. That was the idea behind the magazine. And the collaborations that I'm putting together are in Ghana, Nigeria. That's where it came from, Nigeria. So Nigeria has exported now to Ghana and London, and next one is Egypt. So I'll be able to talk about those as well.
Wow, fantastic, fantastic. So what we're talking about is just for everyone on the podcast, future-proof or future lost. And what I want to just find out, Stephen, I'll go with you first, Stephen, being our special guest. Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to find out how fast are companies restructuring due to this technology right now, what's happening with AI, and there's so many things happening with the banking system. How fast do you see at the moment companies?
Mm-hmm. I see there's a divide at the moment between the small entrepreneurs that just started off, maybe a few years old, maybe 1 to sort of 5 or 6 employees. Mm-hmm. They're finding it harder to change and adapt, I think, at the moment. Whereas the corporations who have more funding access and everything else are really pushing it through, and that's enabled them to reduce their staff overhead. So that's how they can afford to bring in AI, from what I can see at the moment. Whereas the smaller companies maybe can't afford or haven't got the time. Time is the issue. To learn a new skill and to learn to implement something new into a small business, they often haven't got enough time. And I've seen this in particular in Africa, where they're already holding down 3 jobs. So that's particularly in Africa is where I've seen the lack of time. Lots of energy, enthusiasm, but it's a time issue, I think. That's what I was saying.
Okay, so that's great. That's great. I mean, Bose, I think you obviously have data you're seeing all the time. And so how fast, in your case, is the world of work actually changing compared to probably 5 or 10 years ago?
Well, what we're experiencing right now is another industrial revolution, but this time being led by AI. And it's happening extremely fast, and it's disrupting the workplace. AI is causing rapid change within businesses globally, and it's disrupting business models. It's disrupting what the workforce looks like now. It's changing the job market and everything. We've already seen a lot of companies this year lay off a lot of staff. We've seen Amazon, Microsoft, what's another big one? Amazon, Microsoft,
Google.
Yeah, Google, you name it. And it's through AI automation in the workflow. So, with all these changes, things are happening really fast. Some figures from McKinsey, they've reported that between 2023 and 2024, they've seen an 11 times growth in AI models in products within businesses, within over 10,000 businesses. So you can see things are changing extremely fast. 9 in 10 businesses are now using AI in some form, even though they might be in the early stages of scaling it enterprise-wide. So there's lots of changes happening. Now, in this revolution, you're going to see changes happening the fastest than any other because it's AI. and we know that AI is rapidly developing at a fast rate, we have to constantly keep adapting every few months to the changes that are coming.
Wow. So Stephen, do you concur with that, or do you see that?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm loving AI, and the models we can use, the help we can get from typing into a chat room and getting the instant feedback and everything, which is fantastic. But yeah, you've just got to keep using it and keep learning. So I'm following lots of people online that are talking about AI, and just trying to keep up with it is like, I'm glad that I'm in lots of communities, because I get fed all the information on a daily basis. So it's great.
Don't worry, Stephen. You're in the right community for AI. Believe me.
Yes.
Believe me. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Joe. We don't want to leave you out. The security man, the serious man, the security. Joe. Just I know you're a serious man, so let me just give you a serious question. Yeah. So, what risks come with increased automation?
Yeah, I'll tell you, Ruth, just what Bose and Stephen are doing. Bose is into data, and Stephen, this is particularly relevant to you, the artificial intelligence and the digital world. Yeah. What makes it a reality check is that it's been developed. Artificial intelligence has been developed for over 30 years. The past 2 years, there's been a massive development of new tools coming into the market, of which we're not in control. Private business that are developing these tools are the ones that are making the massive changes because there's money. They're not. I was talking to my son, I was talking to Bose yesterday. The nuclear bomb they pumped £1 million, millions and millions of pounds in developing it. But can anyone guess how much they're pumping into AI? In trillions. That's the reality check. Private business are developing artificial intelligence in an accelerating speed, because it gives the very few the power and the majority less power. And the majority is what we'll be talking about today, which is only human beings losing their job, economic changes, financial changes. Yeah. And with that comes displacement. And the thing I will also be talking about as part of my reality check is that there's no safety mechanism in terms of this robotic artificial intelligence. That's the reality check, the robotics, the automation that is making graduates unemployed, youth unemployment, and middle management, middle class unemployed, etc. Those are the reality. Those are the major changes that are happening. Scary, but also there are opportunities. It means that small entrepreneurial can equalize, can play in the same playing field as middle-sized corporate organization. A man with a laptop can automate his business processes in such a way it can compete with small SMEs and large organizations who are not able to change, like a big ship sailing in the ocean, heading towards an ice. A small boat is able to avoid it. The big ship is going straight on ahead because the changes are slow. And that's what the massive changes is making millionaires very quickly among the young.
Just to come back, right? Because at the end of the day, the risks, just point out the risks. The risks, as you said, some positive things, some opportunities. The risks I think I picked out are in terms of job losses. Yeah, I think that's one of the things you said. What's the other risk you mentioned? Also,
the other risk is that one of the key risks is I'm in security, but I'm also in data.
Yeah.
So
okay.
The other risk is we're producing so much data, and we need to keep it safe. Secure from a security point of view, where you kids are using AI to develop code that will infiltrate your data that we keep in government, local government, central government, businesses. So, and social engineering, which is the biggest aspect of why artificial intelligence is dangerous. They're using it to craft social engineering in terms of persuading people to give away their details, their IDs. So those are one aspect of it.
So what I'm picking up, Joe, because I think what we need to do is just get around to everybody. So what I'm picking up is obviously there's data protection issues here also, and also there's intellectual property issues and a few other things. But if we move on to the next question, just quickly, Stephen, I don't know in terms of what you're seeing right now in companies or organizations, are leaders actually preparing people, or are they just looking at protecting their profits? Are they preparing people for this, as Bose said, this industrial revolution, or which could possibly means that they're training people, they're getting people, or are they just kind of like just reshuffling and, you know, protecting their profits, making sure they can make more money with less people?
Well, I think they know, the boards know they have to implement AI and reduce costs, okay, because obviously it costs money to implement lots of AI. And I think the employees are thinking, I need to start looking for another job. So I think it's a combination of how can I secure myself going forward and maybe get myself in a position where I have the AI skills to be employable and to retain my job. So people are having to increase their skills, upskill, and get into other sectors to go forward, I think, without a doubt.
Do you want to comment on anything that Joe said about the issue of data protection and the issue of job? You've mentioned job losses.
Well, I've got a question really on the data, because I saw just this morning that, you tell me whether it's true or not, that Instagram, unless you opt out of their data, they're able to scrape all your messages from ever. All your photographs off your phone. So you have to physically opt out, and they make it quite difficult for you to opt out. So you can't opt out from your phone, you have to go to your laptop. So they are bringing those risks of your data being lost and used without us really knowing about it.
I think Joe, that question, could you help on that side?
Could you repeat the question? Sorry.
No, I'm just saying. Okay, Stephen, you said.
I mean, should we all opt out of the data questions that you get on social media so they can't take your data? Because everybody signs up and accepts it, don't they? You just go, yeah.
But the problem is that government has to create that initiative by legislation. If you give responsibility to the organization, like Facebook and Instagram, they're unlikely to do it. And they are likely to put exclusion clause when you join, so that you avoid answering. They put a lot of information, and then you don't read it, you just click it and you accept it, without reading it, because it's so much. They're meant to put you off with exclusion clause, to put you off from signing off your data from them using it to third party. But the government needs to make legislation to make sure that they make it a lot simpler to opt out. But these agencies, these social media, make it difficult for you to opt out. So therefore, most people leave it. They quickly sign on, and they use your data It's same with artificial intelligence. Is a learning model, but you have to tell the model that you don't want them to use your information somewhere else.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think, companies are protecting their data. So AI, there's a lot of compliance around it in terms of how you use it within your job, and everything has got to be approved by the company. You can't just go out there and just start using AI tools and things like that, because they need to protect their data, and data protection is very important in companies. As you've seen what's happened with the big stores like M&S and stuff like that. So if you're using certain apps, you do need to opt out if you don't want them to use your data. And I think that because of AI is powered by data, so data is going to become proprietary. But as Joe says, there's going to have to be some sort of legislation to protect data that people hold within companies and data that people give out to companies as well, because data is going to become a business. Who owns that data? Who's got the right to use it? So I think there's going to be a lot of legislative changes coming in the next years, coming years, with data. So
Can I just
one second. Yeah, the reason why I'm putting them here is because if we go back to the topic, future proof or future lost, we just need to direct people in terms of, we don't want to get too much into AI, and because I know AI and all these things are going to take over. We want to start focusing on the people that are looking at their future. Is it going to be proof, or is it going to be lost? So just coming back to you, Bose. I mean, you talked about the wave of disruption.
Yes, I did.
Now, is it actually overhyped, or are we underestimating how big it is?
That's a really good question. I think that there's a lot of people that are probably underestimating how big a disruption that AI is currently causing and is going to cause as it progresses. And the reason why I say that is I kind of like read the news every day in terms of technology news, and every day I'm hearing about tech startups getting millions of pounds or billions of pounds of investment, and they're disrupting like financial industries, legal industries. I've heard so much about disruption in that industry using with startups generating AI workflows to kind of like help their business model, to aid their business model. And this is, in a way, the young generation can get excited, because I was just thinking also about the fact that recently in the news there were 3 young Nigerian guys that were students between the ages of 22 and 21 that created an app for job seekers, for people. It's like the Tinder for jobs, and they basically realized that they could use AI to allow people to easily search for jobs and apply for jobs. And they got funding, and they created the app within 7 weeks, and they have over 500,000 users, and they've had 20 million swipes. This is exciting. This is encouraging for the younger generation to know that, look, there's lots of opportunities here, and just to go back to some of the figures, McKinsey again reports that with the use of generative AI, they're estimating between an annual income over the next 10 decades between 2.6 and 4.4 trillion. That amount of money, can you imagine that AI is bringing in? There's definitely so much opportunity here for everybody.
Stephen, what do you have?
Well, I was just going to say, so are programmers losing their jobs?
Oh, good question. Well, I think that what a lot of businesses are trying to do is innovate. So rather than replace people, let's be innovative. Let's get people working smarter and faster. And so, yes, I think some companies will cut down the size of their teams, but a lot of companies don't just want to replace people. They want to be innovative. So, because it's about integrating AI within the workplace rather than trying to always kind of like get rid of people, But yes, I do think some companies will streamline and reduce their teams, but they're also encouraging innovation and saying, look, if AI is going to help you with your jobs and it's going to make you work faster and work smarter, and you can concentrate on, real problems, and making and creating good solutions quickly, then that's the way they really want to go. But yeah, I think there will be some companies that do. Yeah.
So from what you're saying, they're saying it's kind of like answering the next question, which is AI replacing jobs or tasks inside jobs?
It's both. Yeah.
It's doing both. Okay.
Yeah, it's doing both.
So, I mean, Joe, what would you say? Is it? Would you agree with that, Joe?
Yeah, I do agree with that. It is replacing jobs. Yeah, as Stephen said, it is replacing programmers. There isn't as much jobs as there is. Any job that is, I train in software development and I train in data and cybersecurity. My apprenticeships, are not getting jobs. Many of the apprenticeship providers are not getting students because they can't find a job, because you need a job in order to do apprenticeships. So AI is taking over the repetitive programming aspects, but at the high level, it is not doing that. But there are also many snake oil people saying that AI can do all of this with programming, and it's not quite there yet. Yeah, we're not quite there yet. So it is replacing repetitive work, but the creative jobs and the jobs like plumbing, which we're going to come to later, no, it's not replacing that.
I think if we look at the job market right now, and I've spoken to a lot of my colleagues that inside the programming world, they are feeling it. I've talked about there are lots of graduates now that are feeling it in terms of used to come out and they get a really good job if they did certain degrees, and they're also feeling it. And I also think that what's happened is AI, from my use of it and from the emerging technologies also, is that they can do basic things well. So when you look at a junior programmer, junior developer, they come in to do basic things, and then they grow from there. So I think the problem we're having right now is we're not allowing these graduates and these undergrads or these people that want to come into a job where they're getting placements. We're not allowing them to learn anymore. We're saying that part AI is doing. So there's a buffer there. And that's what we're in danger of now, whereby the younger generation may not get the chances that older generation got. And I think that's where I have a problem with it.
And Tony,
I was just going to say that also the younger generation might be at university, but not too sure what career they should be looking for, because AI is moving so fast.
That's right.
If you go into law, the chances are AI is going to answer the question for one of your customers now. So what's the point?
Do you know the legal profession is going to take the biggest hit next year? The biggest hit. I think it's going to take one of the biggest hits. I don't think it's going to take the biggest hit. There's the accounting profession, because like Joe said, I think Joe mentioned, anything that's repetitive, then obviously that's going to be that's an opportunity for an AI agent to come into place. Yeah, and that's the crazy way. So do you want to say something, Bose, before we move on to the next topic, the next part?
Yeah, I was going to say that in the news recently, they referred to students as NEETs. And there's over 1 million NEETs, and those are students that are not in education, training and employment. And those are the students that I want to give some hope to, in the sense that there are, even though that they might not be in education and training and employment, there are still opportunities for them to learn new skills in this AI era. There'll be lots of hopefully businesses and organizations trying to help them in terms of giving them, learning these new skills that they need for this new world. And it's not just technology skills or, work skills. It's also, personal skills and things like that, confidence, how to, presentation skills, confidence skills, all different skills, thinking skills, problem solving skills, because they're going to be needed in this new world. So hopefully we can talk more about that later, but I just wanted to mention them. Yeah.
So thanks for that. What I want to do is go into the next part, which we've talked about what's really changing, but now we need to get really into it, where we say who will rise, who will fall.